Sorry about that.
Every day, it seems there's a new headline about the devastating financial impacts or trust that's lost due to ransomware or other sophisticated cyber attacks. But with our help, Dell Technologies customers are taking action by becoming more cyber resilient and deterring attacks so they can greet students daily with a smile. They're ensuring that a range of essential government services remain available 24/7 to citizens wherever they're needed. From swiftly dispatching public safety personnel or sending an inspector to sign off on a homeowner's drain, to protecting, restoring, and sustaining our precious natural resources for future generations. With ever-changing cyber attacks targeting organizations in every industry, our cyber resiliency solutions are right on the money, providing the security and controls you need. We help customers protect and isolate critical data from ransomware and other cyber threats, delivering the highest data integrity to keep your doors open, and ensuring that hospitals and healthcare providers have access to the data they need, so patients get life-saving treatment without fail. If a cyber incident does occur, our intelligence, analytics, and responsive team are in a class by themselves, helping you reliably recover your data and applications, so you can quickly get your organization back up and running. With Dell Technologies behind you, you can stay ahead of cybercrime, safeguarding your business and your customers' vital information. Learn more about how Dell Technologies' cyber resiliency solutions can provide true peace of mind for you.
Okay, that was powerful. Me, not so much. I am little powerful, part funny, and a whole lot of awkward. So bear with me. Dell allows me to be myself. You'll see it. Okay, so I'm Surya Mukka, Cybersecurity Strategist and a practice lead at Dell Technologies. I come from a background of, I'm sorry, I'm just going to walk away from here because it's difficult for me to focus. So my background, I have worked as an incident response lead as well as an enterprise architect, helping customers recover from cyber attacks such as ransomware. This was a little bit in the past, so since then, a few months ago, I moved into a proactive cybersecurity role that allows me an opportunity to speak to my customers, share my horror stories, and actually not let them get that far, okay? So that's my role. The practice lead of part of it is also, me being backed up by a whole team of security specialists. So Marianne, love you, can do without you, and a whole lot of other engineers who are not just extensive, who does not just have extensive expertise in the security space, but also are experienced with other products, environment, infrastructure, and everything that Dell does. They're also like a tidy bit in front of other people because they have IR battle scars. So they've seen the worst. My team's seen the worst. We see it every day coming, affecting us, and I think we are better prepared to help the customers. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about whys of this thing. I think we have had a few sessions where we just talked about this extremely hyper-connected environment that we currently live in, right? So a few years ago, it wasn't this, like we had a bubble that used to be our corporate, right? It was protected behind firewall or in the DMZ, and it started to kind of spread out a little bit with SaaS applications, cloud presence, and then COVID hit and boom, right? So now we have tiny specks of data everywhere, all over the internet, which consists of corp. So now corp, there's like IoTs, there's people working from home, people bringing in their own devices, and now we have to protect everything because that's where corporate data lives, right? Add on to that, right? Is it getting any easier? No, because we are all catching up to the operational requirements of work from home scenario. Security hasn't caught up. Security wasn't on the budget when this whole change happened. And now that we want to have more security, there's like this global crisis of security engineers. We saw it coming, but it's now at the doorstep as we try to hire within my own team that we are unable to find the level of expertise that we want from security engineers. So there's a lot of catching up to do. Let's talk a little bit about every good security practitioner has a scary stat slide. That one's mine. So what I want to talk about here on this one is like two things. One is who's affected, right? And as you can see, everybody, but it's not, it almost doesn't depend on the size of company anymore. Personally, we have recovered a country's government, as big as a country government, and as small as a small window installation company with like 5 people. So it's everywhere. Everybody is getting impacted. It's not just, at least the bigger size companies have the potential and have the money to put some security controls in place. Smaller business, they are not so well positioned, and they're more likely to pay. So it's everybody's affected. One another thing that I wanted to talk on this one is what are the, I would say, like side effects, unknown side effects of an incident, things that are unintended. Those things are not being able to get back up to do the business. Unintended, right? I feel like 65%, not feel like stats, right? 65% of the companies, they don't feel like they can go back to business. People who have built their small business, large business from ground up, they feel like they cannot continue to run it. People are losing jobs. State government, when things happen at the government level, we have had incidences where evidence was lost at county government for criminal cases. We have had incidences where schools were out of AC in Texas heat. We have had incidences where people have to just resign and leave because somebody has to take responsibility for things that they didn't do by themselves. But all of those are unintended consequences that is a bigger picture of all that monetary value that's up there. So let's think about it. What should we be doing? Putting in security controls, right? So we try to put our security controls in there. Proactive controls. We all talked a little bit about what protections we need to put. How do we secure environments, identities, data, all of that. But is that enough? Is that enough to put all those protections in place and hope that it never happens? Let's talk about why not, right? Let's talk about the motivation of the threat actor. Some of them are just script kiddies, like the phishing guys, right? They keep trying, somebody will click, right? Not everybody. Others are insider people, people who have an axe to grind, like disgruntled old employees that leave and they have all the admin information. So there are other people who are state-sponsored. They are aware of zero-day vulnerability, so no matter what protection you put in place, that it's not going to happen. Then there is attackers who target schools and colleges. And there's a case of data exfiltration. What is on the line? Is it the money that they're getting from the ransom? I don't think so. Like all this data, social security numbers that are coming from students, they don't have credit history. Somebody can just go and buy a house on your social security number, right? So they have more to gain by auctioning that data outside than they just do from the ransomware. So thinking like, if we protect, is it enough? I guess it's not. So what do we do when it's not? To all our GOT fans here, I love you. Winter's coming, right? We prepare for the worst. We put all our protections in place, but then that's how we actually recover. Let's talk a little bit about the IR anatomy. How does it look like? It's complete chaos. It's complete chaos. Like if you had a smoke alarm go off in your house, like anybody heard that sound? Beep, beep, beep. And imagine like all 5 of them, all in your living room area. They all are going off together, right? It's that level of stress for people who have owned the business, who run the business, people who work there, because there's nothing to go back to right now. It's all dead. Nobody can log in. No servers are coming up. No operations are running. There's no payroll to run. It is hard. It's ground down. And what do you have to do right now? Like, think about you having to deal with this while, everything else is happening. And now you have to manage your employees. You have to bring them back in. You have to secure your network. You have to literally, put everything back in together, including domains, identities, critical applications, infrastructure, test everything. When you have to do all of that, imagine the amount of stress that you're back in. So how do we kind of bring a little bit of structure to this chaos, as you will, right? We do it by taking help and by doing practice. So the first one, retainer. Know who your partner is, who's going to help you. It's a big undertaking. You probably will not be able to come back up if you decided to do it all by yourself, right? So know who your recovery partner is. Make sure that they are paid so that they show up, right? Have your 911 number to call and say, hey, I'm under attack, come and help. They can take over all the technical work that goes into rebuilding while you focus on your communications, while you focus on legal issues, issues related to media. Think about that. Who is your partner and who is going to come in? Then let's talk a little bit about the intelligent technologies. Fight fire with fire. We heard Deputy Director Natarajan talk about the sophistication of attacks, right? It's only getting faster and smarter, and the scripts are like super difficult to crack. There's like kits available online. So when we talk about intelligent, what does it mean? The 3 resiliency principle when it comes to technology: isolation, immutability, and intelligence. Isolation, have your backup system air-gapped. Immutability, make sure that it cannot be rewritten on or modified, right? And intelligence, AI, machine learning that sits on top of it, looks at it and thinks, are there any ransomware attacks going on right now? Are the files getting modified at large scale? Is any of that happening? Ransomware-like activities, large modifications of files, folders, data, is that happening? It has to be proactive. It has to be threat hunted, not just let it alert you like the regular monitoring system do. You have to proactively protect your data. That's the second thing. And then tabletop exercises. Because when you think about it, high stress environment, how many of us make really sane decisions when we are under so much stress? Probably it'll come out right, probably not, right? Should those decisions be left at the last minute, or should they be pre-planned so they can be invoked and say, okay, here we are, let's do this, right? Muscle memory. That's why we do fire drills. So we know what to do exactly if an event happens like that, right? So we do tabletop exercises, include the executive level, include the technical people, include the users, and then learn from those. Learn from those to a point where we are improving, right? So take this 3. It's like, okay, I now know how to recover faster. My return to operations is going to be, quicker. Not good enough yet, right? Don't do this once. Make it a part of your operations. Make it something that everybody has to do every year. Going back down all the way to the cyber recovery solution, if you have something like a vault, detonate and see how fast we are able to recover. Make sure that the backup system you are using, you actually practice recovering out of those backup systems. Make sure that the landing zone is there. Let's talk about redundancy. How many of us have like extra servers, machines, clients sitting out there? Anybody? It's like 10 extra, awesome. How many of you have power supplies for all those things? It's super funny. It's a customer story. It's like, oh, we have got, and this is a school district, we've got like easily 200 laptops that we can deploy today. Awesome. We need to reimage them, send them out. Oh, we don't have the power supplies. That's great. So think about redundancy, right? It's muscle memory. Bring the plan. Make sure that you have the plan. Work it out, because you're going to find those loopholes. Reimaging through USB sticks. How many of us have done that? Awesome. Do you know how many sticks Best Buy carries at any point of time? Not more than 20. Do you know how many can you get from Micro Center? Not more than 15. I myself walked into a Walmart and got 20 of them. So put all this together. Would it have been easier to have like an Amazon P card? Probably, yeah. So it's all part of, running that exercise so you know where your loopholes are. Okay, and then consider other things. So you did your exercise, you found out your loopholes, you're practicing it. What else do you need to do? Okay, I told you I'm going to be funny. So you guys already know this. In addition to doing this, you have to do this. Call your attorney, because you're going to need it. You're going to need it as a university, you're going to need it. As a school district, you're going to need it. As a private institution, you're going to need it. You're going to need it for these reasons. You need to know who you need to disclose your information to. You need to know, are those imperative, right? Yeah, you're going to have to send those mails out. Yes, sure you do. Are there any liabilities? Are we going to get sued, right? These are all the questions that needs to be answered beforehand. Again, what's the evidence handling procedure? Are we going to engage a forensic team? Yes, you have to do the timeline. That's great. Are they maintaining the chain of custody? What does that look like? Do we have to save everything as evidence, or can we start rebuilding on our infrastructure? Really important questions. So you need to do your attorney homework. Partnership, partnership, partnership. Who's going to help you, right? Everybody is busy. Who's going to help you? So let's talk a little bit about what kind of partnership you're looking at. Like, is it going to be media relations partnership, somebody who's trying to save your image? Supply chain, right? Yeah, you guys have Dell devices, great. Do you know how many can you get in a day's notice? I guess not, right? Like if you call your salesperson's like, hey, we need 20,000 machines tomorrow. Is it going to happen? No. So that's the kind of information that you already need to know. It's like, if you chose to inform today, how long does it take? What does the supply chain look like? Insurance company, who's going to pay for this mess? Definitely not out of pocket, right? Cyber insurance, hopefully you guys have that. Customers have that, some people don't. They start going shopping when we ask them, it's like, do you guys have insurance? Like, nope, okay, not good. But insurance company, do your insurance company know your recovery partner? Probably not. So make sure that your recovery partner is recognized by your insurance companies. FBI local agent, we talked about this a little bit. So some people, they have as last part of their IR plan, pay the ransom. Is it always important to pay the ransom? Is it always helpful? Maybe not, because if you contact your local FBI agent, they already may have decryption key for some variants that may look like the variant that corrupted your environment. They might have a key. There's no harm checking, right? The other thing is, when we talk about decryption, it increases the recovery time. Like, you guys will not believe how long it takes to decrypt a server. It takes much longer than it took to encrypt the servers. So you're literally adding days per each device in the process of decryption. Once you have decrypted, does it feel safe to put it back into the environment? No, it's not safe, because there's something that happened before the encryption started. You need to get rid of it, right? So what do you have to do? Like, put it through the sanitization process, greenfield the environment, then move it over to your greenfield environment. So decryption doesn't always help. And that's the biggest takeaway I think there is. Partnership, partnership, partnership. Communications management. I put in this here because this is real life, coming right out of a university. We went in. Our customer who we were already monitoring, ransomware started getting deployed. We got it, we tracked it. Even before we could contain it, like, within few hours, some student posted on their Insta account about ransomware hitting the university. And this is what we get from their IT directors, like, can you help us manage this? Who's managing your communications when it goes out of the university? Who's gonna say, this is the message we want to say? Has that message been crafted? Has it been approved, right? So make sure that you have that plan of what your communications need to look like. And then, cyber recovery is not same as disaster recovery. IR plan, not same as DR plan. There are quite a lot of things that overlap over here, but DR, let's think about it: flood, tornado, forest fire. Yeah, there's a lot of smoke out there. So forest fire, what is it gonna damage? How many facilities is it gonna damage? Is it gonna be one location, two, maybe the whole city, right? But if you have a DR site away, it's protected, that's great. Location doesn't buy you protection when it comes to IR. As long as you guys are on the same domain, your network's not segmented, you are at risk. So I had this customer out of Boston, healthcare customer. Central site is Boston, 2 data centers in India. All of them got encrypted, all of them. And the India data center had VPN'd into their main site. So it wasn't like, they actually didn't authenticate through the same domain, but they were in through the VPN. So, well, bad luck. And restoration must remove vulnerabilities. If we restored everything back to itself, just like we would do for a DR, would it be any better? No, right? The threat actor's got your credentials, gonna come back right in, password 123 exclamation. I was strong enough, right? So restoration needs to remove vulnerabilities, which means that when we are doing an IR recovery, IRR contains a whole set of security piece that needs to be in place while we do the recovery. That includes greenfielding, that includes network protection. A really good friend of mine, network engineer, he does the network configuration, and he said, there's something very simple setting, GeoIP tracking, that's gonna keep the outside world out. And he's like, nobody turned it on. GeoIP filtering, right? Nobody turned it on, so we're seeing Russia, China, everybody in the network, and it was all coming through. All that we had to do was, turn on the GeoIP filtering. So restoration must remove vulnerabilities. I guess it's time for us to talk a little bit about how we did it for a few customers, right? These things, they don't happen on a regular routine day. Nobody's gonna do it 9 to 5. Imagine sitting relaxing, Saturday, maybe Sunday. I got a call when I was doing a movie night with my kids. So it's like popcorn's flowing, ready to watch the movie, and then I get a call. It's like, oh, this customer. Pack your bags and leave. That's what they need. It's that brutal. There was one right before the holiday season. So I had family coming in from out of country, 3 from different states. We are doing, this big New Year bash, and guess what? Next 3 weeks, I didn't see them in my own house. I didn't see them. One other customer, retail customer, right before same holiday season, it was her son's wedding the next day. She came back from rehearsal dinner. She was the CIO of the company, and she got notified. She didn't see any of the wedding. It's real, it's brutal. That's what it looks like. If you've never seen a ransomware note, this is what you see. This is all you see. Like, you can't get in, you can't do anything. You can't be productive, you can't get paid. That's how real it is. I put up a K-12 organization case study here. This is really close to my heart. I was there in Texas, the school district that got hit. Early in the morning, they came to know that there are some ransomware nodes. In next 2 hours, nothing was turning up. By the time it was evening, we were all there. What's going on? What's going on? My forensic expert, he comes in and is like, can I talk to you on the side? I was like, yeah, what's going on? And he says, I can't pull up their data center. And I mean, what does that mean? And he goes, you know the VxRail environment that sits in that freezer room that has like 500 servers that they are hosting? Their operating system is encrypted. So we couldn't turn that up, meaning we couldn't turn any of the machines up. And turned immediately to the customer, where are your backups? Backups were encrypted before they could get to, before even the ransomware node was deployed. So it's that brutal, right? Now, what saved them? They had an air gap backup that synchronizes, every 2 weeks into that log box. That was great. They had an air log backup. I was like, my God, you guys did great. Like, for a school district, you have like 3 people in IT. And he goes, yeah, there is a small problem with that. We didn't realize that it was too full. So, while we figure that out with all the support and everybody, let's do the rebuild. 6 weeks later, we had contained the threat. We had redeployed all the server on another server, the entire data center. We had redeployed. We had reimaged every single machine in every school in the entire school district. The amount of logistics it took to get 30 people into every school, reimage every machine, and the machines that were literally connected and bolted to the wall, it was long. It was 3 weeks of doing just the reimaging of machines, and another 3 weeks to bring up critical domain services to reestablish the authentication process. If you are now in this environment, when I try to log in, will it authenticate? Just to do that. Another 3 months, they kept rebuilding. And for another year, probably longer, it'll take them another many, many months to get back. So don't pass it off as an outage. People tend to do that, like, it's an outage. No, it's not an outage. It's an event that you might never recover from. And if you did, you will have scars to show proof of. So, some other customers, large packaging company, we did good work for them. This was like 130 resources in 7 days because it was in 9 different countries. And I'm sorry, not 9 different countries, I think 18 different countries, and we rammed resources in 9 different languages just to give them a help desk. So when people call, they're like, yeah, this is not working. They needed a place to redirect that information, so we had to stand up a help desk for them. For these guys, we recovered in spot because there was just no way that we could bring down the entire network and do the recovery. Are there risks? Yeah, risks. Seen, mitigated, accepted, and then we moved forward. International government agency. Half of my team from all over the world actually flew in for this one. So we are not talking about cheap business. We are talking really expensive work here. It's like getting everybody on site of the capability who could actually recover an entire government agency. That was huge. A lot of data was lost, and a lot of data had to be recovered. So this particular one, like really huge. Service provider, extortion case. So this was a very close partner that this happened to, and it was new hardware that got corrupted. So it wasn't like, people are working on this machine, maybe end of life, yeah, I'm going to replace this in next 2 years. That wasn't the case. Those were like all new hardware that we had to recover. Retail store, this one was like the whole environment brought down to the ground. Every single thing had to be rebuilt. Everything had to be cleaned up, put in place. What do we do? Practice. Know the plan. Have a plan. Know the plan. Practice the plan. There should be one more, improve the plan. because yeah, you need we all do, like improvement as this gets more sophisticated, more out in the market. We all need to work towards finding a way not just to prevent it, which is preventative measures that we put in place, but also the awareness that we might have to deal with it and know how to deal with it, because all the measures that we put in place, they may not help us. So plan. Questions?